Welcome to Owens Fabrication YouTube channel. We're in deepest, darkest Mynydd Cerrig, the capital of West Wales. And I'm here with Endaf Owens. And just before we start, obviously younger fans will know me. But this isn't John Candy, it is actually Uncle Rich, not Uncle Buck. So. But we're not here to talk about me today, we're here to talk about Endaf Owens.
It's a bit of a story about both of us, isn't it? You know?
So, Endaf, obviously now I'd like to start by asking, what first sort of sparked your interest in motorsport? So take us back to a young Endaf growing up.
Oh, flipping heck. Donkeys years ago. Growing up, spent all my time in the garage with Dad. Dad was mad into rallying. Spent all his time in the garage fixing cars and rallying, and he was very quick in his day. Spent every weekend going with him.
But obviously you weren't the best racer in the family at that early age. You had an older sister who was far better than you, showed a bit more potential.
She was phenomenal. She was the golden girl. Obviously I was just the dregs of the family. You know, she had everything. I was given nothing, so it's part of life, isn't it?
Things have changed quite dramatically, I would say, as life has gone on. You know. So here we are now in your garage. So how did all this come about then, Endaf? How did you get into building rally cars, motorsport and
they're race cars.
Yeah. We'll come on to that later, about my technical knowledge.
No, it was my interest. I enjoyed building cars. Spent all my time in the garage after school, after my apprenticeship and all that sort of stuff. And then
so where did you learn skills for that then? Because you started off working on aeroplanes, wasn't it? Something like that?
Yeah, we did my apprenticeship as a machinist in Aberporth many years ago. And then we got a job up in Snathin, RAF Snathin. So I moved up there. I was on Harrier GR7s working on the planes there. So I did my training, got the attention to detail and all that sort of shit there. And then decided I wanted to move back home from Cardiff years after. Did many years there, moved back home. And then I went to weld lampposts. hell of a job. If anyone wants to go and weld lampposts, don't. It's a shit job.
So it's safe to say then you come from a racing family. Racing's always been in your blood. So you started off in autograss and then progressed your way up?
Yeah, we did that when I was in juniors. Got banned from racing autograss, so I decided to go circuit racing. Best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, that was a case of mistaken identity.
Yes, it wasn't me. No, definitely not. So. Yeah.
As an experienced mechanic and racer myself, can you just check the flux capacitors working to capacity there? So, I know the intricacies of it, but perhaps you could tell some of our race fans about what you actually build, the spec, the particular makes and models.
What have you actually raced then? It's interesting to the interest. What have you followed?
Drop handlebars, scooters, skateboards.
Really?
Yeah.
All that? Well, as in what sort of level? World or British or?
I came third in Birch Grove on a BMX once.
My God.
So back to the cars anyway. So what exactly do you build?
It's flat out now. Seems to be with. I decided a couple of years ago to build brand new shells because I was fed up of finding old minis, spending hours restoring them. Everyone was moaning it was expensive. So we thought we'd buy new panels, build new shells as I wanted them, and it seems to have been really popular. So just like them.
Rough turnaround, so it comes to you how many weeks before you get it off? So you're talking in hours there, I can't work in hours.
It depends. If we like the person, you could probably turn a car up from nothing, from an order to a car on track. If it was the only car you were doing, it'd be like 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Without the engine.
Ready?
We don't get involved with the engines.
No.
No, race ready and fast.
So coming up, we got Castle Combe, and in the lead up to Castle Combe, we went to Pembury testing, which was a success.
Luckily, Pembury's been just down the road, so we went down there for a quick shakedown. I thought we'd have half a day testing. Luckily, we managed 2 laps, and then there was oil everywhere. So, long story, we had to come home, strip the engine, found the oil problem, which was, anyway, it's all Slaphead's fault, never my fault.
Beginning to realise it, yeah.
You know.
But it's nice to know, though, when we get to Combe, you've got a strong team around you, lots of boys pulling their weight and making sure everything ticks over.
Yeah, to be fair, the boys are absolutely amazing. You know, there's a hell of a support of the team, and obviously with you now being team manager, it just takes all the stress off me.
So I'm Uncle Rich, and I'm chief mechanic and team manager for Owens Motorsport. So basically my role, first thing in the morning, I give the boys their work cards, tell them what the brief is for the day, and then I just oversee the work throughout the day, making sure that everything follows to plan. And then at the end of the day, we have a full debrief about how the team's performed against the key performance indicators, really. We've had to address the performance issues through pay-related, issues, really, which has resulted in lack of bacon sandwiches provided in the morning, no coffee, reduction in sugars in teas, so on and so forth, really, just so they make sure that they're on the ball next time. So it's quite brutal. Getting back to the racing and at Combe, pretty eventful race there, a couple of incidents in the race.
Yeah, it was nice to turn up to Castle Combe, and first race I'd done this season. We managed, I think we qualified, I don't know, third or fourth, something. It was quite good. And the race was chaos.
There's a couple of racers in there that you've known for quite a long time, and you know their styles and so on and so forth, but there was a couple of incidents in Castle Combe. Do you want to expand further on a couple of the races?
You know, it's the usual thing. There's a lot of flipping fast drivers in the MIGs now. A lot of them is guaranteed. When you're racing against someone like Jeff, to be fair to him, he's a mega lad to have a pint with and anything, but when you're on track, you know he's going to hit you. So, but you know, it's just not if, but when. So to be fair, Castle Combe, middle race, bang. And I was like, Shemai. Yes.
So it's fair to say you and Jeff have got a bit of a thing going on?
Yeah, well, to be fair, there's a few things. Actually, have a look at all this. This is how much he thinks of me.
So we moved on to brands, and again, a full family affair, good turnout from all Owens representatives. Beautiful weather. First race in Castle Combe, you were leading.
Brands.
Too strong. Right, we'll go back to this now. So we go back to Brands Hatchend. Beautiful day in Brands, sunny weather, big crowds, lots of support. We lead in the first race, coming down Graham Hill Bend.
Like a commentator.
I've been doing my research. And then there was a bit of an incident.
Yeah, it was a mega race. I think it was like 6 or 8 or 10 of us in a row. I was leading, Jeff was leading. Jeff did a push to pass, which, you know, is part of life, or Jeff's life. And then we come up behind the back marker, and I thought in my little world he was going to go left. So I went right, and he went right, so I smashed in the back of him, which was end of that race, parked up in the barrier. Good to watch the end of the race, though, and I can't remember who won, but it wasn't me.
No.
Shaggy.
So we moved on then in between race 1 and race 2. If you get knocked out of race 1, where do you start then in race 2?
We were on the back, but luckily there was 2 or 3 conked out before us. So I think we were 20s, mid-20s or something like that on the grid. So it was a long way back. So it was just one of those, just making the numbers up.
So how did that go then, from the start of the grid? You started at the back in Brands in race 2?
I think the first run we had a good start, managed to get up to the front to lead the race. Yeah, it was good. The car was mega. It was, you know, considering we hadn't put all the bolts back in, so there was a bag full of bolts back in the pits. It was enough to make it point in the right direction. We got in the lead and briefly got into Paddock Hill, and it was just like a rear-wheel drive car, because it just kept on stepping out, and I realised I was being drilled from behind by about 500 people, or Andy, and yeah, that was it. End of the race.
We thought you did that for a fact, because that's where most of us were watching and supporting for. We thought you just did that.
I thought just a bit of a wave for everyone, but no, that was it. That was my brand's disaster weekend. But we had a mega weekend with the family, which is the main thing.
So we don't care about continuity in this show. We're on something else now. So I noticed behind us now we got a new Mini. It just returned from the paint shop. So what's the story with this one? Yeah,
that's a customer we've had for a while. He wanted a tribute for Michael Jackson. So he's bought my old car, old Darren, and because the new shells are a fair bit lighter and quite proven, so he wanted to move on. He's got a new engine come in, so that's the new build now, which is testing in about 4 weeks, so we've got a lot of work to do.
And there's a bit of a story then between you got rid of the pink Mini and we've ended up with a Ford Escort. So what's the story?
Well, to be honest, it's what I grew up around with Dad, with his Escorts and everything, and I've always wanted one, but could never really afford a proper one. So the pink car was sold, and the lad said he's done the deal and everything. So cool, I got a bit of money coming in, and he said, I've got a rally car for sale. He sounded, you know, quite posh. I thought he'd have a Subaru or something, like an R5 or something. He had a Mark 1 Escort in it, and long story, that was mega. So we did the deal, straight Part X for this Mark 1, and I started rallying at 45 years old. Exactly.
So there's hope for all of us yet.
Well, flipping heck. Yeah. So it's bigger. So
I think, Rich, you need to say, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got loads coming up on the next episodes of Owens Mini Garage. That's going in it as well.
You're saying it, not me.
Oh, right. It's a bit like a Two Ronnies here.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're like Dumb and Dumber.
The outtakes of this is going to be like the cannonball run.
That's it for episode. Okay. That's it for episode 1. Dumb and Dumber over. It's over to Rich. No, hang on. Right there. That's it for episode 1. This is Dumb and Dumber. This is Rich.
So if you like what you see...
Okay.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and press the notify bell for more episodes of Owens Mini Garage.
Hey, I might sign up myself.
Slick and pro.